Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Johnny. Happy birthday to you.
I was 5 years old. My parents woke up to celebrate their 8th wedding anniversary that day. Mom sent me off to kindergarten that morning while tending to my 2 younger brothers.
With your Goofy dollars?
Mickey Mouse!
Okay.
That is, until the clock struck 8:46 a.m.
Two planes crashed into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York this week. 30 minutes apart.
Explosions, multiple explosions, ladies and gentlemen. We just saw another explosion. Obviously.
We're just watching it again. It's the first time. This is now.
You saw a plane?
Yes, I just saw a plane going into the World Trade Center. It was a jet. It was a very large plane. It was going fast. It went past the Republic building and got returned.
I've gone 15 years now immersed in this culture at war with radical Islam.
Purpose, Alfred. Somebody is doing this on purpose.
And even today, there is still senseless attacks on innocent people by Muslim terrorists.
24 people killed Monday, another 90 people killed over the weekend.
These Islamists are dominating to extinction girls and women. And then, of course, we've got that so-called underwear bomber.
You've got people working and living in New Jersey and Philadelphia planning this type of action.
This comes just months after the deadly Charlie Hebdo and Jewish grocery store attacks.
Multiple references to jihadist materials, foreign terrorist organizations, and violent tactics.
Terrorists stormed it. That was part of a group of 8 suicide attackers, essentially wearing suicide vests armed with AK-47s and grenade, attacking 6 separate locations in a perfectly coordinated attack. One was near the Stadium of France, the other was in a very...
So I admit that it's far too easy to label Islam as a violent religion. I myself have been guilty of it in the past. But so rarely does anybody take the time to ask Muslims themselves about Islam and their perception of these terrorists we have been constantly at war with. So that's what I did.
There, sweetheart. Let me get him some water. All ready?
I'm already.
Islam is a very peaceful religion. Just because we have the right to defend ourselves does not mean that we promote warfare. If anything, we're taught that we are to avoid warfare at all costs, to avoid anything that would lead to taking of life.
Yes, there is some extremists in Islamic belief, but who made them? Who made them extremists? You will see that first, their own ignorance. Second, they are desperate from practicing their rights, and mainly they come against the states, their own states. They don't bother the non-Muslims more than bothering Muslims themselves.
We have to remember most of the victims of ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and other such horrible groups. Their victims are mainly, predominantly Muslims. We're the ones who feel the brunt of it.
And if you made a statistics, or you would like to come up to the conclusion how many people from Muslims being killed by ISIS and how many non-Muslims, you will see the results very clear. That 90% of those who got killed, they are Muslims.
We know that they do not represent al-Islam. We know this. And we know that they're not representing the example of Prophet Muhammad upon him peace. We know this. Because if they were following the example of the Prophet Muhammad upon him peace, which if they say that they're Muslims, they say they're following the text of the Holy Quran, then that text tells us that no doubt there is in Muhammad upon him peace the best example for all of mankind.
Religion and faith are great motivators, and they can be used for very destructive ends. And this is unfortunate, a flaw in the human condition.
Today we have the spiritual knowledge, religious knowledge, and we have secular knowledge. It's the same thing. We're trying to combine these two sciences and to try to combine them to come up with something that's of a balance for us to live this religion in a way that will complement, not hurt, complement the United States of America. And this is another thing.
Islam values life, it values the soul, and not only does it value the life and souls of Muslims, but non-Muslims as well. All life is sacred.
There was a general consensus in all of them that extremism has no religion, that pure Islam is peaceful. But if the vast majority of Muslims are peaceful, why don't we see this more often?
Read about the bodies that are still in the bushes because it's still not safe enough to go get the bodies to bury them. And the people who swam to this island
and training with automatic weapons.
And it's going to continue to spread.
Why is the world not talking about this more?
Why are we so oversaturated with the extremist if Islam is as peaceful as many say it is?
And the question, who made them to do it this way? There is many theories behind it, and we believe strongly that this is a political agenda behind these people. Some people supporting them and giving them weapons, giving them communications equipment, and giving them media, large and wide publicity in the media to represent the Islam. And this is in reality, it's wrong completely. In many other cases, people, they are trying to show the other side of Islam. No one will give them a chance to do this.
For every news outlet that talks something bad about, we'll use Islam today, and it may be justified. For every news article that they can have, they'll have, I guarantee you, if they really looked at it something, they can get more than 10 or 20 stories that will represent Islam in the proper way than that which they're reporting. But it's not to the benefit of the news media so much to report good things, because it's about business, and that doesn't sell.
It's not a story for them. But we're out there. Many imams have come out and spoken against this. They formed coalitions, they've written press releases and statements.
And because of this, they attack Islam. They feel that this is threatened to their gains.
But unfortunately, just an average American Muslim isn't newsworthy.
And that's the danger. And I think too many people, since we're talking about Islam, I think too many people have not done the research for themselves to make up their own mind and own decision.
With all of this, you will see the image. We don't believe in this. We believe that Islam is innocent from all of these accusations, if you are talking about the pure Islam.
And I'm sure now Islam has grown here in America. It has grown, and it will continue to grow. No matter what's going on around the world, the religion of Islam was going to continue to grow. And the best thing that we can do as Muslims, no matter where we are, to be the best representation of that, and so that our neighbors will get to know us, so when they sit down and look at that news report, they can say, well, wait a minute. My neighbors down the street don't exemplify what's being shown to me. And if nothing else, maybe we can begin to have that dialogue to dismantle some of these unfortunate thoughts and patterns that we see that the media is projecting out into the society.
I embarked on this journey naive to its magnitude. Regardless of one's opinion, I've learned it's most important that they reach it on their own, through their own research, through their own dialogue.